Let me talk to the men out there listening real quick. Guys, are you suffering from erectile dysfunction, fatigue, decreased muscle tone, lack of energy, low libido, brain fog, sleep disturbances? Hey, low libido, ask your girlfriend or wife. She'll let you know if you're suffering from that or not. That's sex drive. If you'll text my name, Clay, in all caps to 601-327-8550, 601-327-8550, Men's Health of Mississippi and the Clay Edwards Show are going to hook you up with a free testosterone screening. They're located in Madison, Mississippi at 120 Fountains Boulevard. You can check them out online, menshealthms.com. But one more time, text my name, all caps, Clay, to 601-327-8550 and get your free testosterone screening scheduled today. Enjoy the rest of this show. Boom goes the dynamite. You've tuned in to the Clay Edwards Show, the free-range human show of choice, your daily dose of reality radio, the number one news-based podcast in all of Central Mississippi, according to some magazine I've never heard of. But hey, we will take an award. It can replace my Jackson Free Press Best Podcaster Award on the mantle. I'm just kidding. I don't have that on a mantle. I have a picture of it in my phone, though. It was the one year they didn't send your boy an award. I would send it back, honestly, if they had it. At this point, hey, that's neither here nor there. Thank y'all for tuning in this morning. We are live here on WYAB, streaming worldwide at WYAB.com, as well as the TuneIn app. And Alexa, just search WYAB. And, of course, if you're not following me on X, what are you doing with your life? Follow me on X, at SaveJXN. And for y'all that aren't afraid of TikTok, follow me over there, at SaveJXN. And last but not least, the California communist out there at Meta, Facebook and Instagram, same thing, at SaveJXN. We do have a Clay Edwards Show Facebook group. You'll go search it. Just search Clay Edwards and be sure to put the show on the end. And you got to answer a couple quick little questions just to verify you are, in fact, a human being, not a bot. There is no right or wrong answer necessarily. You just got to put something in there. I'll get you approved, and you can post away. Post all the memes and shenanigans and news stories and comments and everything you want. We got about 3,500 people in there now. It's a very lively and active online community. I don't censor anything. Unless it's just something vulgar, I'll delete that. But anyway, Clay Edwards Show on Facebook. Go join the group. You won't regret it. So, Topher, my old buddy, man, rapper, MAGA rapper, former MAGA. I don't know if he's still rapping anymore. MAGA rapper, Topher, right here in Mississippi. He's had multiple number one hits. He's changed his life up a little bit, lost a bunch of weight, been doing this challenge on TikTok and social media where he walks up to people and does a Bible verse challenge. These things have gone ultra viral over the last few months. It's super cool to see Topher doing what he's doing. Great guy. He's also part of a massive lawsuit against the U.S. federal government over the banning of TikTok. Big story in the Washington Post yesterday. Topher's going to be on with us in the top of the 8 o'clock hour. He's been on the show multiple times before. Just a good dude. He had a number one hit for the song Let's Go Brandon. If that tells you what kind of person we're talking about here. He's good, God-fearing, Mississippi conservative. Did I mention Topher's a black guy? I know that doesn't matter, but unfortunately, to a certain segment of the audience, it does. So I always like it, especially here in Jackson, when we get a like-minded black dude to call in, talk about what he's got going on, that's not afraid to break off the Democrat plantation. It's a glorious thing. It's beautiful to see somebody do it and be so successful doing it. So, looking forward to that. I want to talk about something that I didn't get to talk about much yesterday. Me and Sean jumped down a rabbit hole talking about transgenders in the military. That was a great conversation, by the way. You can go find it on my podcast or on my YouTube channel. Just search Clay Edwards Show. It's up on both of them. Anyway, Smithville Stadium. I broke that story a couple of days ago. Not yesterday, but day before. What's today? Wednesday. So Monday evening, we broke that story that the state of Mississippi repoed Smithville Stadium. Ain't no way I wasn't circling back to this. Ain't no way we were going to miss talking about this. Some people call me a liar. Call your boy Clay a liar, like I would lie about such a thing. We're never going to miss a chance to dance on Chokwe's grave. Not a chance. No, ma'am. No, sir. When he falls, we kick him when he's down. I mean, he's the only mayor in the history of America to get a free stadium repossessed. It didn't even have no payments. It wasn't even like rim time rims. He got a stadium repossessed that he didn't owe no money on. How you do that, Chokwe? I'm about to tell y'all how he did it. Going all the way back to 1944, the state of Mississippi deeded over the property where Smithville Stadium is. Then they redeeded it in 1947. Not 100% sure what the point was 3 years later. Maybe it was a short term. Anyway, neither here nor there. I don't care. They put a clause in this agreement that if it was ever used for anything other than parks, that they could take the land back. So basically, if it was ever used for any kind of commercial purposes that wasn't parks, baseball stadium does fall as a park. What it doesn't fall as is when you rent part of that stadium out to a private business, a bar, and they run a private business at that stadium that is a bar that's not necessarily adjacent, it's not affiliated with the stadium. Like, I'm not going to make any more examples. I'm just going to continue on. The examples are irrelevant. There's a smoke shop over there, a cigar shop. Not a shop, but a cigar bar. One of the story I got, one of the state reps took his son over to a youth sports game. They still play a lot of youth sports ball right over there in that field in front of it and across the street. And he said the raucous behavior, the loud music, and the overwhelming loud smell of marijuana was just completely inappropriate to be that close to youth sports. And frankly, to be that close to the Ag Museum. It's not what people go to museums for. No, look, I'm all about a bar and a good time. I ain't throwing stones from within my glass house. But I do think there's a time and a place for all that kind of stuff. Middle of the day on a Saturday, or whatever time it was. I'm just kind of thinking about when they would play youth ball over there. But probably ain't the time. Let's just be honest. So he decided to do a little snooping around and found that clause in that deed. Because I guess everybody kind of remembered they were going to put a Costco there. And the city wanted it. Costco wanted it. The state put a kibosh in it. We're not going to put any commercial stuff here to that level. We're not going to, because eventually, if you put commercial there, it destroys the intersection, whether it's 10 years or 20 years. And let's just be honest, at this point, as bad as Jackson got, Costco would have probably already abandoned that building and moved to Madison anyway, just like Sam's in North Jackson did. So it would probably already be a big empty building. So kudos on the state for not allowing it. The state said if they did that, they would take the land back, and the state had no interest in selling the land to Costco at that time. That's my understanding. So long story short, they used that. They snuck in some language into a bill, into a Ways and Means bill that would take the land back. It would take the stadium back. And I'm here for it. I mean, look, they've got a cool thing out there that Hank Aaron Sports Academy, Youth Sports Academy. A lot of these JPS plays a lot of their games out there. Some of these HBCU tournaments, they got a lot of stuff going on out there, and none of that has to stop just because ownership changes. None of it. Actually, the state could put a little money in that thing, paint it back from those god awful colors they painted it. That JSU red and blue that they were using when Dion was here, it looks terrible. I mean, it looks terrible. It looks almost as bad as the Coliseum did when it was yellow and red. Now, I'm more sentimental to that because I was a kid when it looked like a big top circus tent, but it was still ugly. Anyway, here's the full story from WLBT. Here's their reaction. And this should come as no surprise, y'all. They're blaming it on racism. Here we go. This is on WLBT this morning.
Time you drive down Lakeland Drive could soon become property of the state.
And it all goes back to questions tied to land records in the 1940s. Here's what we learned when we started digging into whether the city could lose ownership of the land. This stadium is City of Jackson property right now, but that may soon change. Commissioner of the Legacy League and CEO of the Hank Aaron Sports Academy that operates out of Smith Wills, Tim Bennett.
I mean, no pun intended, but it kind of hit me out of left field. I was in here working last night, and one of the parents stuck her head in the door and said, "Were you aware that the stadium is being repossessed?"
House Bill 1983 is this year's bond bill. It includes money for projects all around the state, but near the end of the bill, it directs the Attorney General to take all legal action necessary to revert ownership of this parcel of land back to the state. The city sent a statement saying the state has not repossessed the stadium, adding that the bill isn't transparent, never referring to the stadium by name. They go on to say the city of Jackson welcomes the challenge of repossession, especially when businesses sanctioned by the state have operated on that property for more than a decade. The land was deeded to the city from the state in 1944 under the condition that it be used for park purposes only.
Always been aware that the dirt does belong to the state and that the city did construct the facility in 1975 and that there were some reverter clauses built in. And so we've been very careful to make sure that we stay compliant.
And that's where some lawmakers are pointing to the issue. Churchill Smoke Shop also operates on the parcel of land, which they say is obviously not a park purpose.
All of it falls under one contract. So when we signed the contract, they were already in that contract.
We have a copy of that contract Bennett signed with the city, and it references his company has the right and authority to sublease tenants on the premises. Representative Chris Bell thinks it's a targeted move against the city.
It's unfortunate that the state deems it necessary to attempt to take Smith Wills and make the smoke shop the scapegoat. When the Jackson Mets played there and the Houston Astros farm team played there, that there was actually a restaurant and bar in that same location.
That's a lie. There was not a bar there when the Mets played there. There was not.
So if that was the case, it should have been taken over then.
We went by the smoke shop and we're told they'll soon be celebrating 10 years at that location. This has not come up as an issue previously. As for the stadium and any impact on the baseball activities, Tim Bennett says he intends to do whatever it takes to keep the state and city happy and keep playing ball there. So
I don't even think it, so they're talking about Left Field Lounge, which I knew those people that owned it. Wild story there. They're talking about Left Field Lounge was the first bar that went out there. I don't believe that the Generals were still there. I think even the Generals had moved on. I don't know that they were playing any real ball out there at that time. Maybe some of these B League, non-Major League Baseball affiliated teams were. I don't think that's when the Generals were there. I'd have to go back and look to be exact, but anyway, now look, here's the deal. The Jackson delegation that's against this should have read the bill. Should have read the bill. I did. So they got down there and said, what are these? It says Jackson 3 times in this one paragraph about taking some land. What piece of land is this, guys? They didn't do their job. I'm not talking about all of them. I'm just talking about the ones complaining. They should have caught it. I mean, it's sad. It's sad when Save Jackson knew what it was. Well, Clay Edwards is the one that broke this story. And the Jackson delegation at the Capitol, with all them people they got working down there, didn't take the time to catch this in a bill. It says so much about Jackson and Jacksonians and the trash they send to the Capitol. Again, I'm not throwing the baby out with the bathwater. There's a couple good folks from Jackson down there at that Capitol. Well, one anyway. So, what do you guys think? Guns and Gear text line, 769-241-1944. Mazda of Jackson phone line, 601-879-0002. What should the state do with Smith-Wills Stadium? Let it keep rocking and rolling like it is, put a little money into it, try to make something out of it, keep it youth sports, tear it down, turn it into a parking lot, pave it, I don't know, turn it into a park. What do you guys think? Several people have suggested a mini zoo, tied all into LaFleur's Bluff. I like that too. Let's take a break. We'll be right back. Welcome back into the Clay Edwards Show. We're live here on OWYAB. Hey, tonight, guys, get out to Burgers, Blues, Barbecue, downtown Brandon. It's part 2, the second night of the Cordless Corner Unplugged music show competition. Last week, man, there was over 300 or so people there. Packed. Get there early. Get a seat. Starts at 7. They got the huge patio out back there. It's covered. Huge covered patio. Got big fans, TVs, picnic tables, the whole 9 yards. Probably about half the size of a football field. I mean, it's a big one. Anyway, plenty of seats. Of course, they got the inside little B3 bar, nice little dive bar if you want to get away from everything. Then they have the restaurant, which is totally separate from all of it, that if you want to have the family thing in there, you can do that as well. Of course, the event is family friendly. There were a lot of kids out there last week. We started with 12 contestants. We're down to 10. As they come check them out as some of Mississippi's most talented musicians battle it out for cash prizes, studio time, and the opportunity to be interviewed right here on the Clay Edwards Show. I'm kidding. I'm going to throw that in anyway. But they do get the opportunity to headline a big event coming to Brandon here soon. They're going to start doing kind of like a Fondren First Thursdays. It's called 042 Nights. And the winner will get to headline one of those. So that's going to be pretty cool. Get out there tonight, 7 to 10. In the meantime, get over to Burgers, Blues, Barbecue, Flowwood. Right now, it's breakfast time from 6:30 to 10:30, I believe. Of course, you can also get breakfast all day, but they are open for breakfast. They also have a third shift happy hour, which is runs concurrent with breakfast, ironically. $4 mimosas, $4 Bloody Marys, and $1 off draft beers for all you folks getting off at the hospital, been working all night, want to catch a little sip or unwind some before you go home for the evening or for the morning, however you look at it. God bless you third shift workers. Y'all keep America running. Get over there, Burgers, Blues, Barbecue. Try one of their award-winning award-winning barbecue sandwiches too, but try one of their award-winning burgers. The Smash Burger is back this month with the Smash Burger special. $10. You get a Smash Burger. You get a fry. You get fries or a side and a drink for only $10. All right. Continuing on real quick. I was watching the WAPT version of this story, and it's just kind of more of the same. And when I do this, guys, it's not – I don't have a problem with what's going on out there at Smith-Wills. I just think that it just shows more negligence from the city. You know, and whether we can agree or disagree on should there be a bar out there. And by the way, the Left Field Lounge was not there when it was the Generals, when it was a major league affiliated team. They were not there. They came in once the second tier stuff came in, the Senators. The Senators were not affiliated directly to a major league team. So Chris Bell is wrong about that. But they're going to try to use it, push that narrative. So just be mindful of that. Be mindful of that. what else was I going to say about that? But that was really about it. I just confirmed that which ball team was there. And look, man, I think it should keep going what it is for now. But let's check out some of your guns and gear text real quick, and we'll move on, man. I got another really good topic I want to get to. We're gonna shift away from Jackson. Let's see here. Unknown texture. I remember eating a burger at Left Field Lounge as a kid. The Senators were the current team. I don't remember it being a bar, and definitely don't remember the smell of marijuana. Yeah. I was thinking about this on the way. You see, I also heard, and this is allegedly, but I trust my sources. Allegedly, you know, that bar out there was cited for selling liquor without a license here recently. So that is not surprising. That happens in Jackson way more than you think. Bars that don't have a liquor license selling liquor. It was something I battled a lot as a legal liquor license holder in the state. The ABC was always coming down hard on me, and I was always snitching. I was like, well, this bar thinks they can do bottle service. You know, in the state of Mississippi, you can't do bottle service. Like, you know, you go to some other states, and you can get a whole bottle of Patron brought to the table and all that. You cannot do that here. Technically, like champagne, none of that. You ain't supposed to do none of that. So I was always battling these bars in Jackson that were breaking the rules, and it was not necessary. They were breaking the rules, and I had to follow them. You know, we went about one more misenforcement away from a lawsuit with the state on that whole thing. Let's see here. Paul says, hey, man, if you can real quick let people know 20 eastbound at the split at 49 and Flowwood Drive, there's a pickup. There's a pickup on its side. Traffic is backed up. So if you're heading east through the stack, there's a pickup upside down on the side, whatever you want to call it, causing a big backup. So if you're coming into Jackson, if you're heading from Jackson into the stack, be prepared to chill out for a minute. Crazy T says, hey, man, I tell you what, I'm not going to read that because I said your name before I read the keep that anonymous. Unknown texture, tear it all down. They finally started doing it in Detroit. Jess says, I know that when it comes to my children playing ball there are always no smoking signs. You can't smoke at the Braves Stadium, can you? Why would somebody want to put a smoke shop right next to a recreational facility? A bar fine, but I sure hope some of that money benefits the stadium. Who knows? Unknown texture, turn it into a morgue. They probably need the room. Blake says, I mean, that reverter clause is clear only park use, and a smoke shop bar is not a park. So they can't really be mad at anyone but themselves because they should have known that. But I wouldn't put any real money into it unless it is in the CCID. That's the only way it can be safe. Yeah, you know, they keep going back to, well, it's been a bar for this long and nobody cared till it was a black-owned business is what they're saying. It's been a black-owned business for 10 years. How about you say it like this? We got away with it for a long time. Because Jackson been majority black ruled for the last 30-plus years. So what you can say is, we got away with this for a long time, and the jig is up. That's how they should be looking at this. Man, yeah, we pulled one over their eyes for the last 20 years, roughly. We pulled one over their eyes, guys. The jig's up. Sorry. It was a good run. I mean, you get 10 years out of a bar. That's a good run. I only had one last 10 years. It's a good run. I had a legal liquor license, but you know, I can actually trace the demise of my bar back to getting a legal liquor license and not letting people BYOB anymore. A lot of myths about all the money you can make with a liquor license. Let's see here. Oh, I remember what I was going to say. I was coming in this morning and I was thinking about that alleged citation for no liquor, for serving liquor without a liquor license. I will bet you $100 bill that was the ABC or the Attorney General's office that issued that. I would love, it just got me to thinking about all the little nonsensical tickets that we got over the years from JPD operating a bar. The contributing to the delinquency of minors, stuff of that nature. I want to know, I would love to see the last time they wrote a minor in possession ticket. The last time they went through a bar and checked for underage drinkers. The last time they ran a vice operation and caught a bar selling to minors. Caught people smoking weed in a bar. I'm not saying it doesn't happen. I just, usually I would hear about it. I'm a little unplugged from the Jackson bar scene. It ain't my demographic too much anymore. I'm just curious. Like, do they still do that? I know I got a couple of JPD guys listening because I got your text messages. Does JPD still run vice operations in bars? You know, like just that broken window policing? Let me know. Also, there's a murder in Jackson right now. Shocker, I know. Being investigated over at Palm Bridges Park. I may have some details on that when we get back. But I want to go to something else. When we come back, have y'all seen this video floating around of Kansas City Chiefs kicker Harrison Butker? He does the commencement speech at his former college. And he goes scorched earth on Joe Biden, DEI, and the Catholic Church. It is, woo! It is so nice to see a young man that wears that NFL shield standing up instead of bending the knee. We'll be right back. Welcome back into the Clay Edwards Show. Hey, guys, get out to Guns and Gear. Proud sponsors of the Guns and Gear text line, located right there on Highway 51 North in Gluckstadt, Mississippi, right there at Yandell Road in that little shopping center. If you're heading north, the shopping center's on your right. Stop by, see Hunter and the team today, buy a gun. Buy some freedom seeds, a.k.a. ammunition. Get out there and practice your pew-pew. I haven't done mine in a while. I made a Facebook post about it. Thank you to all the invites from everybody to go pew-pew shooting. I need to take you all up on it, and I may do it one weekend here sooner rather than later. Maybe that first weekend in June. Go build a fire and shoot some things. Shoot some empty beer cans that I made empty. We'll have a good time. Anyway, we'll go buy Guns and Gear first, and we'll get some fresh ammo. Or we'll use some of my old ammo and replace it with some fresh ammo. Anyway, look, man, stop by, see Hunter and the team. He sent me a picture of some type of gun. I don't know what it is. It looks like a cannon, but it's a gun. He said, I just bought the ultimate FAFO gun ever. And I was like, well, send me a picture of it. He sent me this picture. I don't know what it is. I don't know how to explain it. You'll need to go by there and check it out. But it screams FAFO. Hey, look, man, they're more than just a gun shop. They take care of all your gunsmithing and Cerakoting needs as well. You have some guns been sitting up for a while. Take them by, let them clean them up, freshen them up, make sure everything's going to work right for you. Worst case scenario is you needing your gun and it not working. So make sure that won't be a problem. Get by Guns and Gear. Let them do a tune-up on those things. And don't forget, they buy guns too. No sense in going and dealing with any pawn shops anywhere. Got a gun you want to shake off, get rid of, need to buy your wife a ring, say I'm sorry, whatever. Go sell one of your guns. She'll thank you later, I'm sure. All right. GunsandGearMS.com. Good God-fearing folks out there. Let's go, Brandon. Let's see here. All right, so what we got is Kansas City Chiefs kicker Harrison Butker. And if you watch Jason Whitlock's Fearless show, you probably saw this already. I was watching last night and literally stopped what I was doing, rewound it, and was like, oh my, that guy plays for the NFL? Not anymore. Well, you should see the comment. They're not going to be happy with him. You saw what they've done to Aaron Rodgers. By the way, real quick, Aaron Rodgers, Tucker Carlson. It premiered yesterday. I happened to be running some errands. Got to listen to about 45 minutes to an hour of their interview. Phenomenal. I mean, absolutely phenomenal. They both go scorched earth on the entire establishment. It is a great listen. All right, here's Harrison Butker doing the commencement speech at Benedictine College, and he goes scorched earth on Joe Biden, DEI, and the Catholic Church.
Throughout the COVID fiasco, and how you missed out on so many milestones the rest of us older people have taken for granted. While COVID might have played a large role throughout your formative years, it is not unique. Bad policies and poor leadership have negatively impacted major life issues. Things like abortion, IVF, surrogacy, euthanasia, as well as a growing support for degenerate cultural values in media, all stem from the pervasiveness of disorder. Our own nation is led by a man who publicly and proudly proclaims his Catholic faith, but at the same time is delusional enough to make the sign of the cross during a pro-abortion rally. He has been so vocal in his support for the murder of innocent babies that I'm sure to many people it appears that you can be both Catholic and pro-choice. He is not alone. From the man behind the COVID lockdowns to the people pushing dangerous gender ideologies onto the youth of America, they all have a glaring thing in common. They are Catholic. This is an important reminder that being Catholic alone doesn't cut it. These are the sorts of things we are told in polite society to not bring up. You know, the difficult and unpleasant things. But if we are going to be men and women for this time in history, we need to stop pretending that the Church of Nice is a winning proposition. We must always speak and act in charity, but never mistake charity for cowardice.
That's what I do every day on this show, by the way. Never mistake kindness for weakness.
It's safe to say that over the past few years, I've gained quite the reputation for speaking my mind. I never envisioned myself nor wanted to have this sort of a platform, but God has given it to me, so I have no other choice but to embrace it and preach more hard truths about accepting your lane and staying in it.
Woo!
As members of the church founded by Jesus Christ, it is our duty and ultimately privilege to be authentically and unapologetically Catholic. Don't be mistaken, even within the church, people in polite Catholic circles will try to persuade you to remain silent. There even was an award-winning film called Silence, made by a fellow Catholic, wherein one of the main characters, a Jesuit priest, abandoned the church and as an apostate, when he died, is seen grasping a crucifix, quiet and unknown to anyone but God. As a friend of Benedictine College, His Excellency Bishop Robert Barron said in his review of the film, "It was exactly what the cultural elite want to see in Christianity: private, hidden away, and harmless." Our Catholic faith has always been countercultural. Our Lord, along with countless followers, were all put to death for their adherence to her teachings. The world around us says that we should keep our beliefs to ourselves whenever they go against the tyranny of diversity, equity, and inclusion. We fear speaking truth because now, unfortunately, truth is in the minority. Congress just passed a bill where stating something as basic as the biblical teaching of who killed Jesus could land you in jail. But make no mistake, before we even attempt to fix any of the issues plaguing society, we must first get our own house in order, and it starts with our leaders.
Come on down, young son. I almost want to play it again. Now, look, I don't know a whole lot about the Catholic Church. I didn't grow up around, I'm not Catholic, and I didn't grow up around many, if any, Catholics to speak of. You know, everything I know of the Catholic Church is there's a lot of them. They have some issues with their priests and little boys. And Joe Biden claims to be a devout Catholic and supports a lot of really, really bad things. That is my general purview of the Catholic Church. And with all that, I say, I'm sure there's some very great Catholics out there. I just don't know that I know any of them. But that's a Southern thing. There's kind of like the Jewish deal. I don't know any Jewish people. Not a whole lot of Jewish folks down here. You know, I don't know how large the Catholic Church is here in Mississippi. You got to get down further south Mississippi, and you get a lot of Catholics down that way. But that's neither here nor there. This is not about the Catholic Church. This is about the reckoning of diversity, equity, and inclusion, and Joe Biden But more than any of that, this is about taking the platform you've been given by the Lord, and making the most of it. Learning to stand up and use your voice. I would love to wake up one day, and so many of you have spoken up and stood up, and so many of you guys that are so much smarter than me. I mean, y'all tell me all the time what an idiot I am. So many of you guys, I would love to wake up one day and all you guys decide to grab your sack, stand up, and speak your mind like I did. I would love for there to be no need for this GED having redneck from South Jackson to get up here every morning and have the #1 talk show in Jackson, Mississippi. But here we are, because there you are. And here I am. Let's take a break. We'll be right back to land the plane for the first hour. Coming up in hour 2, we got Topher. He's going to be talking about his Bible verse challenge that he's been doing online that's blowing up, and his lawsuit against the U.S. federal government over the TikTok ban. Nothing gets me fired up more than people suing Joe Biden. Love it. We'll be right back. Welcome back into the Clay Edwards Show. We're here live on WYAB. Hey, guys, are you looking for a Jeep? It's Jeep weather. It is officially Jeep weather. It's summertime as far as I'm concerned. Get over to Noel Daniels Motor Company right there in Crossgates, right there in Brandon, Mississippi. Noel Daniels Motor Company. They have got a 2018 Jeep Wrangler Rubicon. Just turned 100,000 miles. It's 4x4. It's got the 3.6 liter white cloth interior. It's got some really good looking rims and tires. I guess they're factory, but man, I guess it's the Rubicon factory wheels. It's got a hard top that of course comes off. That's why we call it Jeep weather. Get over there. Check it out today. Price only $28,900. You can check it out online, noeldaniels.cars, and don't be afraid to jump on one of their golf carts, one of their Icon electric golf carts or scooters, and take one for a spin. They're super, super cool. And with so many neighborhoods and communities allowing golf carts on the streets now, you don't want to be left out. That's noeldaniels.cars. Don't forget, they buy cars. If you're in the market to sell your vehicle, whether you want to trade it in, buy one from somewhere else, or just shake off a vehicle that you don't need, payoff, no payoff, they got you covered at Noel Daniels Motor Company. Tell them Clay sent you. All right, man, we got about a minute or two left here before our top of the hour break. Let's see here. How about we read some text on the Guns and Gear text line just to take us home for the hour. Christy texts in, so she says, I turned my friend Beth in Ohio onto your show. We have been friends since the 3rd grade. She's our people. Well, Beth in Ohio, welcome to the crap show. We are alive and kicking here in Jackson, Mississippi. Let's see here. Trying to pull one up. I got a little less than a minute. Plumber John, I can't read that on the air. I can't make accusations about businesses. Woodrow says, make it a slot car arena or RC car arena. You know what? A big RC arena would be really cool to turn Smithville Stadium into. Frisco says, why are they mad? It's not like the state is taking back some crown jewel cash cow. They're just mad and trying to make it about race. I think that probably has more to do with it than anything. You know, every now and then you need a hero and you need a villain. And the state plays a good villain, and so does Jackson. And to the different demographics, the other side is the hero. Jackson will get more mileage. If we're just talking about getting your base fired up, Jackson will get so much mileage. These politicians will get so much traction and raise so much money off the big, bad state of Mississippi coming and taking little poor Jackson's baseball stadium. Let's just be honest. That thing is a boat anchor financially, I bet. You know it don't turn a profit. You know it costs more money to keep up than it makes, I assume. Let it go. Move on. It's time for some of these suburban areas to start annexing parts of Jackson. The good parts only, of course. We don't want some of it. All right, we'll be right back. Top of the hour. We got Topher coming up. Peace. You've tuned back in to the most incendiary show on the radio. This is the Clay Edwards Show here on 103.9 FM, WYAB. Real quick, this interview on the Mazda of Jackson phone line is going to be brought to you by Mazda of Jackson, located right there at Briarwood on I-55 South Frontage Road in Jackson. You know where Mazda of Jackson's at. You can't miss it. Big, beautiful facility right there. Guys, every purchase comes with a limited lifetime powertrain warranty. Every purchase comes with a free 43-inch TV. And I want to drive this home because car dealerships get such a bad rep. When you buy a vehicle from Mazda of Jackson, you are literally dealing with the two owners, the car family. They sit at the sales desk and work the deals themselves. There's no middleman between you and that deal. You got your sales guy, and they got some good ones over there. My buddy Grady, my buddy Richard. I'm sure I know some of the other them, but I've worked with a couple of these guys for years. Know them well. Good folks. You're going to work with a good salesperson, and they've been there a while, too. And, man, that tells me a lot about the way the owners treat their staff, too, because people move around in the car business a lot. They've been there a while, so that tells me a lot. But you're working the deal, and then when you buy the vehicle, the owner gives you their phone number. Says, if you have any problems, concerns, questions, whatever the case may be, give me a call. Man, you can't ask for more than that. Most, not all, but a lot of the owners I've worked for in the past at these dealerships run the other way if a customer wanted to talk to them. Knew it was going to cost them some money. Not these folks. They give you their number. You can't beat that. Check them out, MazdaofJackson.com. Get over there today. Check out the CX-90. It is crossover luxury redefined, gorgeous vehicle. Do not buy a crossover SUV until you've checked out the CX-90. All right, let's go to the Mazda of Jackson phone line here. We got my old buddy, been down with me since day one. We got Topher here on the line. What's up, brother? Topher, you there? Topher.
What's going on, Clay? How you doing, man?
What's up, brother? How you doing, man?
Fantastic. You know, it's always something whenever we connect again, right?
it is. It's like the funerals and weddings. We got to start talking more often when there's good things to talk about. We're going to talk about some good stuff in today's conversation too, because I think what you're doing online, and I've been meaning to reach out to you anyway, but I saw the lawsuit yesterday, and it's like text now. But let's start with the positives. How about that? Have you been doing any rapping? I haven't. Has there been some new music come out that I've missed?
Not yet, man. I am working on something new right now, and it's actually going to be in coordination with Turning Point USA and Blexit organization. And they're putting out a documentary soon called Race War, and I'm going to be doing a lot of music for that soundtrack as well. So I've kind of been on this journey of, personal development and just growing stronger and strengthening myself in different areas. So I haven't really been in the music scene, but I feel like it's time to hop right back into it, man. It's just at this time of the year, I feel the energy kicking in and watching people move. So you'll hear something soon.
Well, it's always better when it's organic and you're not forcing it when you're not motivated for it. Maybe not motivated is not the word, but when you feel like you're forcing it for business decisions instead of it being allowed to be organic and actually getting fired up and writing songs that mean something. And I'm looking forward to hearing whatever you put out there because I know it's coming from the heart.
Well, just real quick, two awesome opportunities coming up. I'm going to be on the remix for Mr. Red, White, and Blue with Coffee Anderson, which he plans on dropping that around July 4th. That's huge.
Absolutely.
And then Zachariah Smith, who was on, I believe, finalist for American Idol out of Amory, Mississippi. I will be collaborating with him sometime soon. I know we got a writing fest up in Nashville in June, but he also invited me to the Inspiration Country Music Awards, which is going down May 29th at the Grand Ole Opry. So that'd be cool.
Yeah, that's cool, man. Look, anytime people can say what they won't, say what they will. Anytime you're in a certain business and you get a chance to go rub elbows with people who are successful in that business, it's a dang good opportunity. So absolutely. All right. First off, congratulations on your physical transformation. You look phenomenal. You've gotten me fired up. I mean, a couple of my buddies, you, another 2 or 3 people here in town have all really gotten in like really, really good shape over the last year. And it's got me back in the gym 4 days a week, watching what I eat, the whole 9 yards, trying to catch up with you guys. So congratulations. How much weight have you lost?
I lost over 100 pounds in 9 months, basically. And
is it
right now,
100 pounds?
100 pounds. And, yeah, I went from 295 to 190 and went back up to about 200. So I'm kind of like slimming back down because, once you put the muscle back on, muscle weight is heavier than fat. So more right now, I'm not so much looking at the scale, but, looking at the figure.
Sure. Yeah, it gets to a point where the scales are really irrelevant. If you can look in the mirror and you're happy with where you're at, the weight don't matter.
Right, So I had to get right, man. It's kind of hard to, fight the good fight of faith or for justice, whatever, when, you can't really perform like you want to. So Lord put on my heart to get my body right, get my temper right. So I made it happen.
Hey, look, and before it's all said and done, it may be more relevant and necessary than you think, having to be in good shape to do this, to fight this fight. So it could all get physical at some point. You're going to need to be in shape to be able to withstand it. All right, so you got your body in shape, man. You're getting your heart there too, man. What you're doing with this Bible verse challenge, I think this is something anybody can enjoy watching. I know I've seen these posts go viral. Tell us what inspired you. Tell people what it is that may not know, and then tell us what inspired you to start doing this Bible verse challenge.
Well, God is he's interesting, right? So he would disrupt you from what you think you should be doing and send you on a path that is an alternate path only to get you further along. Every detour isn't something that's going to delay you. Sometimes it's a shortcut to, propelling you forward. And I've discovered that with Bible quizzing. I wanted to go on tour back in the beginning of 2023 because of the money I had made off my music. And the guy that was in charge of everything ghosted me just completely out of nowhere. Just one day ghosted me. I've never had that happen before. He didn't respond to my text messages, my calls, my social media inquiries, nothing. Just completely ghosted me. I had no contact to the venues that he was booking. So I just said, okay, Lord, I wanted to go on tour. I was going to bring a pastor along. We was going to preach the word while I was going out. What do you want me to do now? I kind of sought the kingdom first. And he just said, hey, I want you to go out here in the community and quiz people. Once again, it's very vague and random. So I'm like, okay, what else do you want me to do? So I came up with 3 questions because I figured when Jesus went into the wilderness in Matthew 4 and he was tempted by the devil with 3 questions, and that was enough to turn the devil away, then I believe 3 questions are enough to turn people toward God. So I asked 3 questions. I was like, how much should I bless him with? 100 came to my head because to me that's completion. So I said, okay, let's do 100. And ever since then, I just said, Lord, if you'll bless me, I'll continue to do this. And because of those videos, man, I have had the greatest of opportunities from companies and other things like the TikTok lawsuit we're going to talk about here in a minute. But it has, I put the mic down, but my voice got louder. And that's because of obedience. And I just want to tell people that's listening, like, listen, it may not make sense to you right now what God is telling you to do, but trust me, after a while, it will.
Man, you got me fired up over here. I love that. Sometimes you gotta put aside what you think you want to do and listen to him. And I think that is the most poignant thing I've heard in a long time. And it's so simple. It's so true. We try to overcomplicate things, don't we, Topher? And the truth is usually just right there in front of your eyes. You just got to touch it, hear it, listen to it, accept it.
That's it. And, I got the craziest opportunity right now, man, that, I'm actually talking with a company, an associate director for a center, and we're working on an app. And it's going to be a Bible app. And they reached out to me and nobody else. And then the only reason why they reached out to me was because of my social media videos of me going around quizzing people. That, and once again, that is what's going to propel me to the front and allow me to make a really good living from because of my obedience to do that. Not because of my degrees, not because of my success in music or anything else, but because of my obedience to what God called me to do.
Isn't it funny, man? You spent a large part of your career and as well as mine, in the times that I've known you over the last 4 years, fighting cancel culture. And here it is. You follow you follow the Lord, and now you've got companies kicking down your door that used to would run the other way from you because you had the audacity to be a Trump supporter.
Pretty much.
I mean, isn't it funny how that works? You know, it's like because you're outspoken on the right side, they wouldn't touch you with a 10-foot pole. But the second that you start talking about the Lord, and this isn't a knock on anybody. It's just saying, you know, have one opportunity creates another opportunity. And here you are, you got companies kicking down your door to work with you. When used to everybody was scared to work with a Trump supporter. So congratulations on that. I think that's awesome. Let's do this. Let's take a look. Let's go ahead and take our break now. And when we come back, let's jump into the TikTok lawsuit. Me and you both got TikTok stories we can tell about how crazy this is and the negative effect it's going to have on content creators from the top down. So we got Topher here on the Mazda Jackson phone line. This is the Clay Edwards Show. We'll be right back after this break on WYAB. To the Clay Edwards Show. Let's jump straight back to our interview on the Mazda Jackson phone line. We got Topher. Stayed on hold for us. Topher, again, thank you for taking the time this morning, brother, to come on here and chop it up with Jackson, Mississippi, and all the surrounding areas here. So we spent the last segment talking about kind of what Topher's up to nowadays, catching you guys up. You know, this is Topher's 4th or 5th time on the show. I met Topher back in 2020. Yeah, it was 2020 at a Trump. Topher, remember when everybody was doing those flag rallies where they were putting the flags on the cars and riding around and stuff? It was parades. That's the word. Flag parades is the word I was looking for. We all met at Florence City Park there by White Road and drove down to the Capitol one beautiful Sunday. Got a chance to hear you speak there. I think you had just been on Fox News that week before that, and I happened to be watching that, so I recognized you and got a chance to meet you, and we've been buddies ever since. So you've been boots on ground, man. That's why I got so much respect for you. Nothing that you put out there is an act, and we need more people like yourself.
I appreciate that, Clay. Yeah, we've known each other for years, man, and like you said, we've both grown, and you know, we've been in this thing for a while. As the young kids would say, I'm not new to this, I'm true to this. So,
us folks from down south like to say, I grew here, y'all flew here.
I like that too.
All right, so I log on to the interwebs yesterday, and the first thing I see is you had shared a link from the Washington Post. And I mean, sadly, I'm a subscriber to the Washington Post. They actually have a lot of content that I talk about. Sometimes you got to know what the enemy's thinking. So you pay them $4. You pay them $4 a month to know what they're thinking. Anyway, so I saw your lawsuit, man, against the federal government over the TikTok ban. First off, as a content creator, thank you. I've been raising 7 levels of hell about it on this radio show, trying to explain to people. I know Trump said we should ban TikTok 4 or 5 years ago. I get it. I respect Trump. He was wrong then. They're wrong now. Even Trump's come back out since and changed his mind. Topher, this is just me personally. I would rather China have my information. If I got to pick China or California communists, the California communists have already shown what they're going to do with our data. Look at what they did January 6th.
Absolutely. And that's what people don't understand when it comes to this lawsuit. Trump, pulled back his disdain for it after Project Texas came about. And that's what people don't understand. Project Texas was TikTok's attempt to separate, the collection of our data and have it under U.S. control. And what they're doing now, they're trying to pretty much use a hypothetical scenario, which is severely unlikely to happen, and use that to circumvent our First Amendment rights. And I'm not going to go down that way, because so many people find ways to, sorry about that phone call coming through, but so many people are trying to find ways to limit free speech. And if this was about the Second Amendment, they'd be up in arms about it. But because it's the First Amendment, everyone's like, oh, just go get a job, go do something else, this is communist. I'm like, no. The true communists are people that we're afraid of, are the people that kept us locked down for so many years over something that wasn't even that much of a threat. People that continue to pass rules today, I call it the indoctrination school system that we have, that teaching boys can be girls and girls can be boys. Men can compete in women's sports. Like, that is not coming from China. That is coming from the communists and our government here.
Yep. No, 100%. And I told you this last night. If you just believed what you saw on Fox News, you would think all TikTok was a bunch of transgenders trying to groom kids to be transgender. And don't get me wrong, that's on there. But that's also why I got on there. I said, well, it's time to take this fight to where the people are at, not expect the people to come to where my fight is at. I'm going to take just like Jesus. He took the message outside of the church. He took the church to the people. So I decided to take my church to the people and try to fight back against what the transgender nonsense and all that other stuff on TikTok. It's where the battleground is at right now. And if you ain't on the battleground, you're not really in the battle.
Right. And to me, it's more freedom over there to do so, because Meta and Facebook Facebook and Instagram are ran by Meta. So they're going to ban the same type of content. And, we've seen what happened with Twitter until Elon Musk took over and made it X. We was kind of limited over there as well. So people just don't understand. They just assume that the government has our best interests at heart. And I was like, they absolutely do not. And this is about a power move and for them to get control. And I don't like it. So I'd rather deal with the dangers of whatever the CCP may have with ByteDance and TikTok than to deal with the complete and for sure danger that will come from our federal government having control over it.
Look, all 4 of our Mississippi congressmen, 3 of them Republican, voted to ban this thing. They teamed up with Benny Boom Boom Thompson, the Marxist himself, to ban TikTok. I mean, don't get me, look, I use my platform daily to take Mike Guest and any of the other ones to task when needed. I'll call them out when they do something good as well. But, man, I'm on a war. Now they messing with my money. And I reached out. I said, you don't understand the entire cottage industry of America that you're about to put out of business with this. You're going to be liable for millions and millions of jobs, not just content creators, the whole TikTok shop thing, all of it. Everybody's, Clay, they're just going to sell it. Well, you don't know that. Who's got $50 billion sitting around to buy TikTok?
Right.
You know what I mean? And then who buys it? That's the other thing. Yeah, TikTok will not cease to exist. We all know that. It ain't going away. But if it ends up in Zuckerberg's hands, if it ends up in, God forbid, Google has been trying to get into the social media game for years and years and years, multiple failed attempts. Do you want Google in control of TikTok? You think China's bad? Let the alphabet soup mafia literally get control of TikTok, and you'll find out what censorship and indoctrination is.
Absolutely.
So go ahead. I'm sorry.
We already understand that, so that's why we've been so vocal about it.
Yeah. So tell us about the lawsuit. Where is it filed? Who have you teamed up with? What is the goal, or what's the update on it?
Well, really, DWT, Davis, Wright, Tremaine, LLP, they reached out to me. Matter of fact, they was in charge of the TikTok ban lawsuit against Trump back in 2020, and also the one that just won up in Montana. So it's the same organization, but once again, they're reaching out on behalf of TikTok. And trust me, I have no idea why I was chosen to be part of the 8 out of the 170 million users.
Yeah.
I just think that this guy's time, if you're going to have somebody represent him, might well be Topher. And so they reached out and they just asked if I would like to be a part of it. And I said, absolutely. As a veteran, as a person that's fought for our constitutional rights, I'm not just freely finna give them up, just haphazardly because of, one, they haven't proven or provided any evidence of the so-called danger. And 2, when I know that what this is going to lead to in the future, especially for somebody who's created a future, actually a living off the platform. But man, right now we filed a complaint in the lawsuit yesterday. Hopefully, we'll see something later on by September, October, and see where it goes. But for right now, we're just hoping that, once it does go to the Supreme Court, we feel like it will, they'll do the right thing, and with the justices there. Some people say it might be an issue, but if Trump's against it and supposedly his appointed Supreme Court justices are there as well, I think they'll understand, uphold our rights as, citizens, regardless of whatever's going on. But we'll see, man. It's interesting.
It is. I mean, of course, I don't have any faith in a couple of those appointments, Amy Coney Barrett in particular, but we'll see if she does the right thing here. Here's the other thing. They're raising all this cane about potentially TikTok being able to sell our data and what everybody's favorite dance moves are, or what kind of TikToks people like to watch to China. Meanwhile, Airbnb's already done that.
Right.
An American company has already done that. Where are we forcing them to sell? Or is it strictly just because China doesn't have a back door into TikTok? I'm sorry, America doesn't have a back door into TikTok like they do every other social media platform.
Pretty much. They can't just, I guess, strong-arm them into obedience whenever they want to. And because of that, they're afraid that, if something comes up to where too much information is being shared that's negative towards the current administration, then they want to be able to, cut the power to us as fast as possible, and they can't do that as long as it's under another country's control, man. And to me, if people can't see that, then once again, they're missing the big picture.
Yep.
Because I know some people bring up, well, you can't have it on your government phone. I'm like, yeah, you can't have Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter on a government phone, and they're American-owned companies. So it's data security is dangerous for any app, because of the sensitivity of it. So, yeah, as a person that worked at Intel, that understood, that actually did this for a living, they're not wasting manpower in China surfing through that many TikTok users when it mainly is about your dog, how you went fishing, you mowing your yard, DIY type of stuff. Like, that information is invaluable to a government when they're trying to do something. So I don't understand why people feel like it's real danger in this. It's like, no, it's just not going to do what people think it's going to do.
No, I agree 100%. I think it's foolish, and I think and it's times where I just want to beat my head against the wall when I hear what I call country club, white-collar, traditional conservatives rail against China. I'm like, is this 1984? Are we living in 1984? That's what it feels like sometimes when I listen to some of these conservatives are just as bad about obedience as your current progressive Democrats are. It's really sickening. It's time for an uprising of America First, freedom of speech people that are constitutionalists.
Yeah, that's slowly why, I've been coming to understand. I've always kind of been constitutional first and America First type ideals, simply because, one, we got to make sure we protect the thing that, gives us our rights and grants us our rights, not as far as that's where it comes from, the embodiment of it. And two, the freedom to do so. So I'm just like, if we don't make a stand now, they're going to continue to find frivolous reasons to limit our rights until we can't do nothing. And I'm just like, I'm not going to sit back and fold my hand and watch it happen. I got daughters that I got to protect and defend, and I want them to enjoy an America that I grew up in. And if we don't do something now, America would not look like the America I grew up in. I won't be happy about it.
Well, Topher, one of the things I talk the most about on this show is I stand up every time they talk about banning anything down at the state capitol here. I mean, within reason. We want to ban pedophilia. Great, it should already be done if it ain't. I mean, common sense stuff, obviously. But when they start, like, they banned squatted trucks a while back. Do I like squatted trucks? No, I think they're stupid. But I fought for people to be able to have them. Didn't win that one. Oh well, it happens. They want to ban gas station supplements, kratom, flavored vapes, all this stuff. I'm like, I know y'all think this doesn't affect you, but one day they're going to come for something that you like. And you're going to want to know why nobody stood shoulder to shoulder with you to protect the thing that you like from being banned. And I'm using that same analogy here for TikTok. Okay, great. You don't use TikTok. You don't like TikTok. You believe everything Fox News, MSNBC, CNN, et cetera, told you. One day they're going to come for something you like, and you're going to be like, Clay, Topher, why won't y'all stand with me? Well, where were you when we needed you? That's going to be the question I ask.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Where were you? And, we've seen that all throughout the last 5 or 6 years anyway. Where were you when all this was going down, man? And I'm going to be right here fighting, proudly representing Mississippi, regardless of what people think about me, man. I'm always for justice, right? And Proverbs 31:8 talks about that. It's one of the verses that I get the confidence to do what I'm doing right now is, to be a voice for those who can speak up for themselves and to fight for the justice of those that are destitute. That's what we're called to do as Christians. And one of those things that we have, like I said, those rights, our rights to freedom of speech is a right for everybody, regardless of if I like what you say. You have the right to say what you want to say. My job is to beat you in the free marketplace of ideals. And the only way to beat you is for me to be better at articulating my point of view. And if I can't persuade you that way, then I just need to get better at what I'm doing. But limiting your ability to hear other people's point of view and be open to other information is not the way to do it.
Amen, Brother Topher. Thank you so much for taking the time this morning. We love you down here in Jackson. Tell people how to find you online.
Y'all can find me online at tophertown.com or Tophertown Music on any social media platform. Mainly, if you want to listen to my music, just look up Topher, Topatr, on any platform. I continue to stream The Patriot. We are doing great things as an independent artist, not signed to a label. I pay zero in sponsored promotion for my music. Everything I've done has been organic thanks to TikTok, and so I'm blessed and just happy about it. So thank you guys for supporting, and make sure y'all continue to support Clay at the Clay Edwards Show because we need his voice at moments like these.
Thank you, brother. Let's stay in touch. We'll get a follow-up on this thing as it kind of moves through the legal system. Topher, stay blessed, brother. Appreciate you.
Yes, sir. You too.
Peace. Thank you so much to Topher. That interview was brought to you by our friends out at Mazda of Jackson. This is the Clay Edwards Show. We will be right back. Welcome back in. This is the Clay Edwards Show. I was going to say breaking/welcome, waking back in to the Clay Edwards Show. This segment is going to be brought to you by our friends out at iGear Optical right there in Pearl. Go see Bruce and the team today. iGear Optical will never hand out a pair of glasses like a box of shoes. Bruce will adjust the frames before taking measurements and then a second time after the lenses have been installed, and then again when you pick them up for a fine-tuned, personalized fit. Bruce is going to ask you a lot of questions to get to figure out the best lens for you with just the right amount of technology for all of your wants and needs. Bruce is also going to make sure you select the right frames for maximum comfort, durability, and style that fits your needs. I tell you, I said it before, I'll say it again. There's nothing worse than a pair of glasses that don't fit just right. They cause me to have migraines. Anyway, that ain't going to be a problem over at iGear Optical. They're not an insurance company, by the way, because they want to work with you instead of having to deal with an insurance company telling them how to take care of you. You got any questions, let them know. iGearOptical.com. They fit glasses to your lifestyle and your budget. Get your vision in high gear today. Open Monday through Friday, 10 to 6, Saturday, 10 to 2. Located at 2630 Highway 80 East, Pearl, Mississippi. Again, iGearOptical.com. Good folks over there. Thank you for supporting the Clay Edwards Show. All right, we got a few minutes left of the show. We're going to do somebody was trying to call on the Mazda Jackson phone line while I had Topher on the line. Just a FYI, I don't take calls when I'm interviewing somebody. We're not doing the three-way call thing. Don't know who's calling. Don't know what you're going to ask. We're not going to play gotcha with the guest. So, but thank you for the call. You're welcome to call back. 601-879-0002. We got some breaking news. I need to get some effects in here. That's what I need. Little sounders. Like a telegraph for breaking news. Let me put on my TikTok voice. Breaking news. Joe Biden accepts Donald Trump's challenge to a debate. This video is 14 seconds long, and it has at least 2 stop edits in it. That's right. Joe Biden thinks he's going to debate Donald Trump in June, and he can't even make a 14-second video without it having to have multiple obvious edits in it. Here it is.
Donald Trump lost 2 debates to me in 2020. And since then, he hadn't shown up for debate. Now he's acting like he wants to debate me again. Well, make my day, pal. I'll even do it twice. So let's pick the dates, Donald. I hear you're free on Wednesdays. Donald Trump lost 2 debates.
6 edits in 14 seconds. 6 edits in 14 seconds. Does he know that they can't send an AI Joe Biden out there? They're going to have to pump this dude so full of methamphetamines and vitamin B12. He may be hovering off the ground if he plans on competing with Donald J. Trump. And did he say let's listen to this one more time. Did he say he won 2 debates back in 2020? And did he say, make my day, pal? Did I hear that? Good God.
Donald Trump lost 2 debates to me in 2020. Since then, he hadn't shown up for debate. Now he's acting like he wants to debate me again. Well, make my day, pal. I'll even do it twice. So let's pick the dates, Donald. I hear you're free on Wednesdays. Donald Trump lost 2 debates to me.
I hear you're free on Wednesdays because of your sham witch hunt trials up in New York. I'm going to say this right here. They just legalized the death penalty for pedophiles in Florida. Yeah, that's right. They just legalized the death penalty for pedophiles in Florida. Ashley Biden's diary just got confirmed yesterday. Guess who's a pedophile, allegedly? Joe Biden. Taking inappropriate showers with his daughter. She wrote it in her diary. Why would she lie about that? I think Biden should retire to Florida. I think Biden should move it all on down there. Take a whole crackhead family with you. I'm sure Hunter will eventually fofo down there, and he can line up right beside Daddy Joe. Here's some video of the bill sponsor, Jessica Baker, closing out, letting people know that they needed to vote for this thing. This is going to get you fired up. We need this kind of female energy at the Mississippi State Capitol. We got some fighters down there. We got Jill Ford, Celeste Hurst. And I know a lot of Republicans don't like her, but I do because of how she stands up and fights for Jackson and against crime. Shonda Yates. We don't agree on a lot of stuff, but man, she stands up and fights for Jackson when she needs to. You can't deny that. Anyway, here is Jessica Baker selling the other representatives, the legislature in Florida, on approving the death penalty for pedophiles.
There is no earthly redemption for somebody who rapes a small child. Only God can save them. And in Florida, we should be eager to arrange that meeting. Members, I ask for your support, and with that, I close.
Let's do it one more time.
There is no earthly redemption for somebody who rapes a small child. Only God can save them. And in Florida, we should be eager to arrange that meeting. Members, I ask for your support, and with that, I close.
Come on down. Let's arrange that meeting. Why in Mississippi do we not put pedophiles to death? Why do we even have a sexual predator list here? I mean, real question here. As far as pedophiles, anyway. If you've violated a child's innocence, you deserve an expedited trip straight to hell. Don't pass go. Don't collect $200. None of that. Straight to the electric chair. Frankly, I don't know why we don't just bring back the firing squad. A lot of these rainbow supremacists are going to have a bad day, aren't they, in Florida? You're about to see Disney could lose half its staff. You're about to see California get a lot of its population back. A lot of those rainbow supremacists that have relocated to Florida, these trans nut jobs who are trying to indoctrinate kids, they can be put to death now for this. if they take it just a little too far. It's all a little too far for me. California, I saw a video the other day of a cop explaining to another guy about a pedophile they caught. Said, man, you know, they're not going to do anything with them. We can't even arrest them anymore. In California. Pedophilia. We were talking yesterday or the other day about what's next. What's next after this trans stuff? What's the next culture war, the frontline battle for the soul of America? And as always, it's our kids. That's why the trans are going after our kids. I shared a picture on my Twitter last night at SaveJXN. Go follow me. It's a bunch of kindergartners holding up those ridiculous trans flags that they were forced to color. And, of course, they're all wearing face masks, too, because YOLO. They're going after our kids. We got a great text from somebody on the Guns of Gear text line as I was leaving here Tuesday. Yeah, it was yesterday. Sean was in here, and that's what we were talking about. My days kind of run together some. I said, what is next? And I got a great text. I didn't see it until I got in the car. And the guy said, I suggested it's normalizing pedophilia. The guy said, you're absolutely right. It's why they keep going after our kids. It's why they keep making all this stuff acceptable. It's why they keep talking about maps. The kids are next. If they can convince, this is the moral of the story. This is what he said. If they can convince you that a 10-year-old, an 11-year-old, or 12-year-old can determine their gender and force a sex change as a minor, the next logical step is them making the argument if that kid can decide what gender they are and want to cut their tallywhacker off, they should also be able to make their own sexual decisions, whether it be with an adult or a minor. That's why we're fighting like this. That's why I don't care how hard cancel culture comes at me, how hard the rainbow supremacists come down on me. They're going to have to kill me. I'm not being hyperbolic. They can take all my microphones away. They can take my phone away. I'll be like one of those crazy street preachers and with a milk crate down in Fondren screaming and shouting at everybody that walks by me if they do. You'll have to kill me to shut me up. We'll be right back. Welcome back into the Clay Edwards Show. As we land the plane for the day, I just saw a post here from our Democrat buddy on Twitter, J. Allen 1985, and it's look, I don't like Mike Johnson, but it's some reporters stalking Mike Johnson. And let's play this real quick.
Mr. Johnson, did the former president ask you to go and defend him in New York today?
He did not. I went on my own volition. It was my idea.
All right, so they were asking if Mike Johnson, if Trump had asked him to appear outside the court in Manhattan today, and he said no, he went on his own volition. Well, Jay Allen says Trump thought cheating on his third wife with a porn star would hurt his support among evangelicals if they found out about it. Turns out they love him even more. Well, what are we supposed to do? Pull for pedophile Joe? Of course I'll take a cheater over a pedophile any day of the week and twice on Sunday during and after church. I will see you guys tomorrow. Peace out.